Hello, everyone. My name is Jakob, and I work as an equity analyst at Kalqyl. And today I'm joined by Steen Thygesen, who is the CEO at Audientes. And Audientes is a Danish hearing health company which specializes in smart, self-fitting, and affordable hearing aid products. Today we're going to discuss Audientes' Q3 report, which was released a while back. And we're also going to talk about the recent rights issue, which was completed also a while back. So hello, Steen. It's nice to have you here with us today.
Thank you. Nice to be with you.
Thank you. So first of all, I'm going to ask you some questions about Q3. It's a bit late, but better late than never, so to speak.
Yes.
So first of all, what would you say have been your greatest challenges and opportunities during this quarter?
Well, of course, as you say, Q3 is a good while back. We managed in that quarter to really start building up, you can say, our sales in India of our hearing aid called Ven. So we were building on, of course, the introduction we did in the second quarter in 2022. So for us, this was really like continuing building, getting the product out in the channels and starting to really see how the product does in the market. So for us, that was a extremely busy quarter. We also, you can say, were in the middle of this hurricane in the sort of international business markets. The whole stock market situation was developing not in a very positive direction generally. And we were also in the process of getting ready to basically plan and execute our rights issue. So we of course spent a lot of effort on both things, but we managed to start running the process with the rights issue in Q4. So for us, you can say Q4, a lot of that was spent on readying that area in particular, but also we were building on what we accomplished in Q3. So basically in Q3 we generated around 2.2 million Danish kroner in sales revenue from the business in India. So we ended up in that sort of, you can say, year to date at the end of third quarter of a bit more than 3.2 million Danish kroner in revenue for the first 9 months of the year, which was really sort of, I would say, in line with the expectations. But what we could see as we were moving into Q4 was that the expectations we had were not materializing in the magnitude that we had expected. So we had various deals with new partners that were really moving into 2023, which we are in now. And we had also, you can say, the product launch we were looking to carry out of Companion. We could see that would really start generating revenue first this year and not sort of in last year. So we had sort of certain things that we really had to deal with, and that's also why we were adjusting the outlook of the year, saying we're not going to do as much as we thought initially, but more of that is to come in this year, 2023 now. So you can say that was why we felt that we really made some progress in Q3, but we also felt it was a quite challenging period. And of course, the effects of all of that we sort of were working with in the fourth quarter. So executing both on the rights issue, but also really continuing to pave the ground for a successful business progression in this year.
So going forward now, looking forward a bit, is there anything you would like to highlight? How is it going with Ven in India or Companion on the other markets? Is there anything you'd like to talk about there?
Yeah, so of course the year has just begun. We are on the 3rd of January, and we are just, I would say, we are continuing the things that we started last year. So we will, as we move further into the year, we will continue to announce the key customer engagements we are making. We have some interesting things we're working on. We will continue to announce that. We are soon ready to introduce the Companion product in the market from a kind of commercial availability. We're going to start doing that on e-commerce, really on a global kind of delivery basis. So we're gonna be able to ship the product into many countries around the world. We're going to also start introducing here in the Nordic countries availability of the companion product. I should say the companion product is of course our advanced hearable solution, which is, you can say, a sister product to our hearing aid Ven that we are selling in India, but it's made for international consumer electronics markets. So it's not a hearing aid per se, but it's something that can help people who are like at a pre-hearing aid stage really get an enhanced hearing experience in different situations. So we call it a situational hearing device. But that product is one we are right now working on taking to market early on this year. So that's what really is occupying us quite a lot, of course, while at the same time we are continuing expanding the availability of Ven in India and really working with our channel partners on driving the awareness and of course the sell-through of the product to end users. So those are for us really important things that we did a lot of last year, but of course we are continuing to do that this year.
So next up, I thought we were going to talk a little bit about the rights issue that you completed sort of like a week back or so.
Yes.
So first off, congratulations. The rights issue was subscribed to 100%, which is a bit unusual to see in this type of market.
Yes.
So that's very good for you. So my first question is, what is the money going to be used for mainly?
Well, that's also a good question. So it really builds on what I said, is that the key focus of this rights issue is to continue to invest in the sales, marketing, and the operational side around Ven and Companion in India and surrounding countries and in the southern East Asian area. We have said around 15% of the proceeds, the net proceeds is going to be used for that. But then we're going to introduce Companion in Europe and in the US and in Japan, and we are looking to allocate around 45% to that. So you can say the bulk of what we have been raising funding for is to drive the sales of the products we have developed. And at the same time, in order to introduce what we always have had plans for, a product in the US over-the-counter market, we have the need for carrying out basically the ISO 13485 approval, which is around quality management processes, and it's also on our journey to get FDA approval for introducing Companion in the US market and as a hearing aid basically. So these are things that we are working on, and I think that is going to occupy us, you can say, for the full year. Of course, the US market, many of the listeners might be aware that there is a new legislation coming in, you can say really with full effect from this year in the US market. There's new opportunities to introduce and market hearing aids in sort of new channels. So basically could be groceries, drugstores, pharmacies and so on. But all these outlets can actually now carry a portfolio of so-called over-the-counter hearing aids, and so can electronic stores. So for us, this is really much alongside what we have been always striving for. So we are looking to be part of that market in the coming years. So just to really be specific, we are introducing Companion in the US market early on this year as a consumer electronics device, but we're going to follow through with the Ven hearing aid device when that has been, you can say, receiving the necessarily clearing from FDA and so forth as a hearing aid. That is part of our journey. So we are able to participate in the overall market for kind of these hearable devices quite early, but hearing aid device will come from us later on. We expect that to be in 2024 first.
All right. So next off, I'm just going to ask some question about the capital needs, which I guess are covered for now. How do you see the risk of more rights issues in the future and the capital needs in the future? Maybe it's a bit hard to speculate about, but
yeah, of course, we're just, you can say, having just completed this rights issue, which for us was a major milestone. It was the first time we went back to the market and engaging with new investors but very importantly existing investors in order to you can say build the platform for our future execution in these areas I just talked about. There's of course this warrant element in the rights issue where we were marketing units. So for every unit you got as an investor 2 shares and 1 warrant, and the warrants are going to be utilized in a period of in late March and into early April. So for us, of course, that's the next time we are going to come back to the market. And of course, what we are focusing on is really to prove the case, you can say, leading up to that. And we hope that many of our existing investors and those who buy the warrants, the timings options, as they're called in our language here, if they acquire them on the stock market, of course, we hope they will be utilized as well. So for us, that's the next key milestone on this journey of funding the company for growth. It is, of course, conceivable that we will be going back to the markets. That's also something we have described in our prospectus, that is part of, you can say, the journey to build the business in the manner we think is what the company has the potential to do. Mm-hmm. It is, you can say these times that we are in are really, you can say, requiring companies to prove themselves from a commercial point of view. So we have been changing our focus a bit from, you can say, focusing only on growth, but also focusing on kind of the bottom line. So being a company that has got a break even out in the foreseeable future is quite important for us. And we have always talked about 2024 as the year when we would break even. So we are really making sure that's happening, you can say, earlier in 2024 than later. So that's part of what we're aiming at doing.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to add as a last note to what we talked about?
Yeah, I would just say that it has been extremely interesting being out, meeting quite a lot of our shareholders, both virtually and in real life. I was in Stockholm in early December, and I met a lot of interested people trying to share what our case is about. And of course, we moved to Spotlight during last year, so we got listed at Spotlight in September. So for us, we are really focused on broadening the awareness of the Audientes share, and welcome all the interest that we're getting, and hopefully that'll continue to be a good process for us. We are at a level with our share where there's a lot of room to grow, we believe. So that's what we are really focusing on delivering, so that we can see that trajectory going in the right direction. Okay,
very nice. So I would like to thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you.
And I would also like to thank our listeners as well. So have a nice day, everybody. And yeah,
thank you.
Talk to you soon again.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Thank
bye.
You. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.